girls got game. It doesn't matter if you could jump, if you got a 48-inch vertical, these girls got game.
Now, Chris, let's pivot the conversation, and I want to remove race and gender from this conversation, Chris. Let's have an uncomfortable conversation, Chris, because we need to talk about how the media covers these young women. Shady's not here today, but we're going to go to you first, Chris. How do you feel about this conversation? Was that a good Acho? I feel like I kind of got it, but then I lost it, Chris.
You're muted, brother. That was Acho. Can you?
I was like, "Where's Chris's mic?" Acho cut it off. Like that's enough of that, Chris. We don't need to hear this, brother.
All right, sorry. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
I was gonna send you the story, Ray. I don't know if you could find it on Emmanuel Acho, because I found a good article on him. There's a bunch, but this guy has issues, man, and they go beyond women's basketball. So if you haven't seen the story, he's ragging on old girl. What's her name again?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, after she lost.
What's up, Stephanie?
Made some villain comment. Oh, Stephanie? Okay.
Stephanie Padilla.
Yeah. Hey, Stephanie. He made some comment. It was a stupid comment about.
Yeah, hold on, Chris. Can I get another crack at my Acho impersonation to give you the quote?
Yeah.
So, Angel Reese, you want to be the villain, and that's cool. I like villains. The Joker's my favorite villain, but you can't be the villain and then cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Angel Reese. That's all I'm saying.
And he used that line too. I forgot he said Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That is what Acho said, dog.
Yeah, this guy's got issues on so many levels. First of all, you're the one that's casting her as the villain, right? And this is what happens in sports. Sports, a big part of sports is trash talk. I think one of the reasons why I like Caitlin so much is because she does the trash talk, you know. Yeah. And I think that's like people navigate towards that. I remember Larry Bird back in the day, when NBA teams would put the white guys on him, he was insulted by that. He
took it as a sign of disrespect.
Yeah. He said that was disrespectful, you know. And this is just what we come from in sports. That women have went through so much that year. And for Emmanuel Acho to kind of take those comments and twist them into some stupid narrative that he was trying to pull. And his podcast, it exists to give white people cover. It exists to make white people feel good and comfortable in the racial tropes they identify with, you know. He's not trying to have uncomfortable conversations. What he does is he wants to make these people comfortable so they can feel around him. He wants to show them that he is one of the good ones. That's the problem with his show. I remember him a while back on Rachel Lindsay and Van Lathan's show, Higher Learning. He was having a conversation with them, and he says he said some comment about how he identifies with the way with white people and black people. He said black people, I can talk to white people because my parents are Nigerian, and we don't have the slavery background, so I don't have the racial trauma that American black people go through. And this is a very dumb statement by this brother, man. It's like, you don't know the history of Nigeria and palm oil and European settlers. Nigerian, I've dated multiple Nigerian women. Like that's the thing too. My ex-girl, when I met you, Nate, my girlfriend at the time was Nigerian. And they've got their fair share. They've been colonized just like everybody in the diaspora. We all have our fair share. So you try to separate yourself from American blacks, and then you go and you talk about this girl and you talk about how she wants to be the villain after she was upset at a loss. And she was upset at other things going on in her life at the moment too. You know,
she was getting death threats, and people were
threats and sexualizing her.
Yeah.
Thanks for jogging my memory. She was getting death threats. They were sexualizing her,
like AI porn and stuff like that.
That has nothing to do with being a villain. I don't care how you can love or hate somebody all you want to, but getting that kind of stuff, no one should have to deal with that, man.
Right.
And we don't even deal with it to that level. But you know, I've gone on the YouTube channels and stuff, and I look at the comments and on all the little podcast stuff, and people call us diversity hires, and the post has gone woke, all this other bullshit.
Was that Dwayne Johnson writing that?
No, it wasn't Dwayne. But this is just something that we have to go through on a regular basis. And that sister doesn't deserve that. And Emmanuel Acho with those stupid comments, it's like, why are you in this space, dude? Because like I said, I'm not a journalist per se, but I do have a responsibility when we report wrestling news, any kind of news, whatever. First of all, you want to make sure that you name the source. Secondly, you want to make sure that you are being honest. That's the most important thing over anything else, is being honest and being truthful in reporting the news. You don't have to, and I always tell my students, my political science students, because I get a lot of students who want to be journalists, and I'm like, it's okay to be a Republican, it's okay to be a Democrat. If you're going to be in news, however, you've got to tell the truth. If Democrats are fucking up, report Democrats fucking up. If Republicans are doing it, you report them fucking up. But at the end of the day, you got to tell the truth. Don't tell us the sky is green when it's blue, right? Like if you see an insurrection happen and the perpetrators of the insurrection,
Chris, it was just a sightseeing tour, brother.
Yeah, you have to report the stuff honestly, man. And this is the problem with journalists and people like Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho thinks he's doing like some grandiose good thing when he has these white people on, and when he's talking to white people and he's villainizing this woman, and then he goes on Twitter too, and he talks about how he liked how when people like who respectfully checked him or whatever, like, you're not owed respect, dude. like I'm not like if you say stupid stuff, you get these Twitter fingers, you know. Yes. And I'm not gonna be like, you know, I don't care about your respectability when you say stupid stuff, man. You say something stupid, apologize for it. And I also always say this. This is what we all have to pay attention to. When we're on Twitter, social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, our opinions, we have to look at who is agreeing with us when we get on these social media platforms, because the wrong kind of people can agree with you, because this is how echo chambers get started, right? And this is how people turn into MAGAs and stuff like that, is because they get a bunch of people who are like-minded that are toxic agreeing with them, and then they all of a sudden think this is just how life is, and I don't need you people, I have these people agreeing with me. And that is not a good way to be. And I'll close by saying this. I'll bring up Will Smith, for example. Will Smith, when he smacked Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars, there's a lot of people in the Black community, in society in general, but in the Black community, a lot of people admonishing him for smacking that Chris Rock in the face. And then there are a lot of people who are like, no, he did the right thing, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people doing that. Will Smith could have easily fall in line with the people agreeing with him over committing an illegal act. But props to that brother. He got on. It took him a little while, but he got online and he said, no, I was wrong for doing that. That was not the right thing to do. I apologize. Right? And that's how you don't fall in the echo chambers. Right? You do that by not when you do something wrong and illegal, you don't go fall in line with the motherfuckers agreeing with you. you what you do is you analyze the situation and you do some self-reflection. Emmanuel Acho is never going to do that because he likes the space that he's in. And this is just like a lot of these people online that do that, you know. And we'll talk about Dwayne here soon. But this is a problem with social media today and media today is we tend to fall with the people that agree with us no matter how toxic what we state is, and we gotta get out of that shit.
I think Chris, I'll talk about Acho here for a second, Ray, and then expand it to the media in general that have been covering women's college basketball. I think with Acho, and it's a shame because I don't think Acho is a stupid person, Chris.
No, he's not.
I think Acho is intelligent, but I do not think Acho is wise. I think Acho, like the way he started that conversation on Speak for Yourself with Joy Taylor and James Jones and Shady McCoy, who every time I see that brother, it's like, Ray. Sometimes, like, it's okay to not hire your friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta hire everybody. Like if Ray, like I like you, Ray, but if you was mid at your job, you wouldn't be up here, dog, because we got a show to run. And that's all I'm gonna say about Shady McCoy. Like he's Shady McCoy and Tim Tebow are equivalent broadcasters in my mind. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think Otto, the way he started that conversation. Let's remove race and gender from this discussion. You can't do that, Chris.
Never.
You cannot remove race and gender from a discussion where you're talking about a Black woman being attacked. Like, it's impossible to do that. And if you are doing that, Chris, that's intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
To remove that component.
It's basically saying, let's take two of the biggest attributes that you got, two of the biggest things that make you who you are, and completely ignore them and talk about this.
And not only the biggest attributes that make Angel who she is, Chris, but two of the biggest attributes as to why Angel is getting this criticism in the first place.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's one point on Acho, Ray, that you can speak on here in a second. But then the other thing is the media in general. We see the game, like outside of like selected few, like the women I mentioned on ESPN. Like, it was so funny to watch this morning how quickly they pivoted from talking about, Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks for 5 to 10 minutes. And then the rest of the show, let's talk about Caitlin Clark. Is she the GOAT? How great is Caitlin Clark? What's Caitlin Clark's legacy? Did she and we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark's legacy here on this show. But after, we've talked about and given the women that actually won their due and their propers and their flowers. Yeah. But it's like, there's a reason. I saw a Complex article come across my timeline today, Ray. Like, why do people hate Caitlin Clark? And I will tell you, most rational folks, most rational basketball fans, most rational former players do not hate Caitlin Clark. Caitlin's a dog. We love what she brought to the game. What we hate is, A, the way the media frames these conversations, and then B, some of Caitlin's fans, man. Y'all, you all are the reason why there is a pushback, because on every comment under an LSU post or a South Carolina post or some of these other schools, it's the most racist, misogynistic nonsense that you can see. And we're talking, Ray, it would be bad enough if we were talking about these women in the WNBA. We talking about young women, man. We talking about kids for a lot of, depending on the age. Like we talking about the youngest of us, man. And you a grown man. I'm assuming most of these people saying this stupid stuff are men in their 30s and 40s. You a grown man in your 30s and 40s attacking a 21-year-old girl, or a 21-year-old young woman, or an 18-year-old girl. And it's like, dog, for what? For who, Ray? And so I think there's a lot that goes into this. So I'll pass you this loaded basketball. It's like that NBA Jam basketball, dog. It's a hot topic. It's on fire. What have you made of not only what Acho said in regards to Angel Reese, but just in general, the way the media has fumbled the bag when it comes to covering this season and the teams that they've covered and Caitlin Clark's role in all of this?
Well, I pretty much agree with 100% of what you both said. Especially the part, and that's why I had to chime in. Especially the part is where you can't divorce race of it if race is a factor to her getting this hate,
right?
Or if her being a black woman is a factor to her receiving the hate.
It's like, Ray, if I rolled up on you one day and smacked you in the back of the head with a bag of apples, some Granny Smith apples, and then you're like, yo, Nate, why did you do that, dog? And I'm like, hold on, Ray. First of all, let's remove apples and violence from this conversation, and then let's talk about it. It's like, no, we can't do that because apples and violence is at the core, no pun intended, of this conversation, dog.
Exactly. And so I just felt like it was a take that was out of bad faith. And again, to kind of piggyback off what Chris was saying before, is just Acho's attempt of just trying to kind of garner like favor from the fan base of Caitlin Clark, or garner favor from the fan base of Iowa. And so I just don't, again, it was a conversation done, or it was a take done out of bad faith. And I hope he realizes just like how detrimental that can be, because it has no place in it. Like what Angel Reese was doing was on the basketball court. That's all she did. She didn't go off of the basketball court and start talking about Caitlin Clark or start bad-mouthing Caitlin Clark. Matter of fact, she did the opposite. Like before their game, she was just saying, we respect each other, but when we get on that basketball court, we not friends. Right. So it's not, people are taking it way too seriously and way too personally. And again, you're making it more than just basketball. Just enjoy the basketball. And as far as the media is concerned, like, again, when we talked about just how LA Times came out with that story and came out with that line about LSU, it's like, why do we always have to make it good versus evil, and good always has to be one particular position and bad always has to be another?
I see what you did there, Ray.
For those listening on podcasts, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.